I am Barry Cott. I am the Chief Executive of Cricket Wales. It's been a really pleasant and refreshing experience. Coming into a sport with really passionate, energetic people has been a delight to see. It's been really inspiring to see how committed our volunteers are, our board members are, how much people love our sport, and the great work that Cricket Wales have been doing across the sport and across Wales has been really inspirational. I think coming from outside cricket, you sometimes form certain views of the sport. Actually, now that I'm involved in the sport, I found it to be really inclusive, really welcoming, and I think I've just been really inspired by the significant growth of the sport in recent years, in particular in the women and girls game, where I think it's grown by 1,300% in the last 10 years. It's truly remarkable numbers. I think it's safe to say that the sport is no longer just a man's game. I think that's really refreshing for me and really inspirational. But of course, the job isn't done, and I don't think we should be sat here giving ourselves a pat on the back. I think there's still lots of work to be done to make sure our sport is really inclusive moving forward, that it has inclusive environments, and that it's safe and welcoming to everybody, no matter where they come from, whatever their gender is, whatever their religious belief or sexual orientation is. I think it's really important that we continue making sure that the sport continues the upward trajectory of being the most inclusive team sport in Wales. Everything seems to be in a great place right now, so it's been an absolute delight to be involved. Getting out and about, it's been really great to see what the clubs are doing on the ground. I think without the work our clubs do, we wouldn't be where we are. The commitment from volunteers at all levels of the club, whether it be on the pitch, the administrators, committee members, has just been absolutely inspiring. What's been key to the growth of cricket in Wales has been the national programmes. I think the All Stars, Dynamos, Chance to Shine, that relationship with Lord Taverners, I think that relationship with the ECB has been instrumental in seeing that growth in the sport. And of course with Sport Wales, I think it's really important that we continue to make sure that those relationships flourish. They're in very good places right now, and I think clubs who are seeing great growth in participation and removing those barriers are accessing initiatives to get more young people, young women and girls playing the sport, and are increasing their volunteer capacity in these areas. I think that's been instrumental and pretty seismic in terms of the growth of the sport over the last few years. But of course, with the good news of lots more people playing cricket, it does put a massive demand on our resources and our structures and our systems that we have currently in place. And of course, the backdrop to all of these is that we can't run our sport without sustainable facilities, and we have to make sure that moving forward we have fit for purpose venues that offer inclusive and safe space for people to play our sport. We've got different versions of the game that need to be accommodated for. You know, the growth of the sport is significant, and as such we can't sit here and expect to continue that sustained growth without addressing some of these resources and structural problems over the next few years. I think it's vitally important we diversify our revenue streams. We're in a tough economic climate at the moment. Funding is less available than it was before. I think we certainly need to be exploring commercial revenue streams in a way we haven't done for cricket. We want to be able to pass support on to our clubs to be able to invest in themselves. And I think we definitely need to be exploring a charitable status as a sport. We do so much good across the community that's positive from an EDI space, and I think looking at a charitable status for cricket in Wales seems like a good thing to do for our sport, and we'll certainly be exploring that moving forward. As part of our long-term strategy that we want to put in place, there are certainly three things that have come up time and time again when I've been out and about my travels over the last few months. The first one being the growth of the women and girls game. I think it's absolutely crucial that we continue pushing that forward. We've got this significant momentum, and it's absolutely crucial that we sustain, maintain and retain that momentum as we move forward. But also we need to make sure that now we have many women and girls playing, that we have appropriate policy and that we're creating safe and welcoming environments for young women and girls coming into the sport for the first time. I think that's really, really important, and we've got a bit of catching up to do in that space, such as the growth. So moving forward, we'd like to see cricket as a place where we have women in leadership roles, we have women running the game at all levels, and we're some distance away from achieving that right now, but our ambition is to make sure that that's what the future of cricket looks like. Secondly, when it comes to schools cricket, I think that's a great opportunity for us. There's still plenty of space to offer much wider programs. Obviously, getting children access to sport is crucial, and cricket is no different. We want to put cricket bats in the hands of as many children as possible. We want them talking about it with their friends. We want it to be a default sport that they pick as an option above their Xbox and their PlayStation, above other some of the mainstream sports. And what we can say about cricket is that it's an easy sport to pick up, and you can play at every level of the game, which is, I think, makes it extremely accessible. And then finally, we wouldn't be where we are today without the support of our clubs and their infrastructures. And Cricket Wales is all about what happens in the community, and this is all based on what our clubs are currently doing. And the focus for us has to be about creating infrastructures that enable clubs to be sustainable in the long term, both financially and both in terms of succession planning and having the right people delivering the right activities at clubs. But also from a facility perspective, we'd like cricket clubs to be able to embrace owning facilities, to have the right level of investment into facilities, and to run their clubs to the best of their ability. And I think that's a huge opportunity for us to support our clubs in moving forward. Underpinning everything that we do moving forward, it's absolutely crucial that we focus on safeguarding. It's absolutely the backbone of making sure that we are creating those safe and inclusive environments. And we have children and vulnerable people all across sport in Wales, and some who aren't taking part in any sport whatsoever. And we want to make sure that cricket is the sport for them, and make sure that this is a sport where you can be heard. And I think the voice of the child, of the vulnerable person, is really, really important. We don't hear enough of that. And ultimately, if we're trying to get everybody involved in cricket and we want it to be the most inclusive sport in Wales, these are areas where we have to put a lot of energy and time into moving forward. Over the next few months, I'm delighted to announce that we will be embarking on our strategy consultation, strategy roadshow, in which we will be going out to our members. We'll be going out to all players, coaches, officials, parents, administrators, and of course our key partners right across the cricket landscape, to hear what people expect from us, what they want the future of cricket in Wales to look like. And looking into 10, 15 years and beyond, I think it's really important we understand what the image of cricket is, what we want it to be in our communities. And the only way we can do that is from hearing right across Wales about what people want from us and what they want from the sport moving forward. I think our greatest asset is definitely our people. Our people have got us to the place where we are now. And I think, with the massive amount of growth in the sport, we've almost forgotten about our people at times. They're there struggling, bursting at the seams, getting more people playing. We've got packed out clubs on a Friday night. We've got way more women and girls competition going on. We've got lots more activity happening right across the sport. And when you're enjoying all of that growth, sometimes you can take your eye off the ball when it comes to the most important thing you have. It's your volunteers, it's your workforce, it's your people, it's your coach educators, it's your officials. And all of those people that help us run the game, we actually need to make sure that they feel invested in, that they feel like they're part of our direction moving forward. And I think there's a very key part to make sure that when we progress as a sport, we do it collectively. I think that we should have a values-based sport. It's key to me that these things just aren't words written on a wall, but actually we exhibit them every single day when we're out and about and are doing our work across Wales. I'm extremely excited about the opportunities that lay ahead for cricket. I think it has the opportunity to be the most inclusive sport in Wales. I think the growth is going to continue happening, and I think activities on and off the pitch are reaching an extraordinary high, and I think it's going to keep continuing over the next few years. It's an exciting time to be part of cricket in Wales.